Hi, folks, and welcome to something you're not going to watch. Me and Dylan aren't going to talk Star Wars. We're going to talk some baseball, baby, and no one cares. No one, not even baseball fans care.
We've been talking about doing a baseball podcast for like 3 or 4 years now.
We have. So we'll see how it works. But with only 60 days in the season, not really what I wanted. But I am a huge baseball fan, and Dylan is too. And we've been talking baseball, and I just wanted to do this. And if there's no one out there who likes baseball, that's fine. It's going to be kind of boring. But first off, I just want to talk about the disappointment that I am, and how disappointed I am in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball should have started in April with the stadiums closed, and just played baseball. That way, it would have been the only sport going. It really would have popularized baseball. Baseball has been known to be the first one out the gate. That nothing stops baseball is the historical rule there. And because of disagreements between both sides, we get only 60 days, a third of the season. In fact, it's kind of weird because it's going to be over before it starts in a way. It's going to feel that way, I'm afraid. And it's not going to feel it's going to feel almost like a spring training. In fact, I don't have that excitement. I'm happy baseball's coming back, but I don't have that excitement that I do on the last few weeks of spring training where you're like, okay, it's about to get real. Here we go. And it's the perfect sport for the COVID season. Baseball is socially distanced, baby. And the only time you have people together, two of those, the batter, the catcher, and the umpire, two of those people are already wearing masks. So, we're good. Baseball was prepared for this. And it's so socially distanced, and it's such a safe sport to be playing. You can't play football like this. You can't play basketball like this. People are always in your face. Football is always a contact sport. Baseball should have started in April in empty stadiums. I'm totally fine with that. And just play ball, man. Just play ball. Can you imagine? ESPN would be talking nothing but baseball. It'd be great. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I more or less agree with you. I mean, because of the four major sports, baseball is always the one that's talked about. Oh, baseball's dying. Like its fan base is getting older, and they're not getting the kids involved. And this is such a good way of getting more attention on the sport and getting more people watching the sport. And they closed it down. I was like, okay, they'll probably be the first ones to come up, right? Because the cooler heads they'll get it together. But then like the negotiations between the league and the Players Association, this went back and forth forever. Where like it was like 120 game season, which I'm like, okay, a little bit short, but it's like understandable. And 100 game season, that's kind of cutting it. That's like probably the minimum I would do. But
60 games is like a preview season, and it's not going to feel like baseball. And the thing is, I mean, to be honest, it's perfect for a team like the Mets who get really hot at the beginning of the first 2 months of the season and then just bottom out. I mean, but the best team will definitely not be winning this year. I think because you get teams that after the All-Star break, they get hot, baby. After the 1st of July, they turn it on and they start winning, and that's exciting for a team to get motivated and everything. And you've had teams make it from, way like 4th place in their division up to 1st, getting in, or with the wild card even in last place. And so it's so many missed chances. It's like we're getting a preview season, a spring training plus season. I'm happy baseball's coming back, but I'm disappointed that all the short-sightedness, all the greed, all the petty arguments led to a 60-day season, which is not going to help baseball. It's not going to help baseball like it could have if we would have gotten, like you said, 120 season. I was for. I was okay with that. So, okay, now we're behind this. Let's push on. And when it was getting to 100 days, I said, are we going to have any baseball? Because then they talked about a 90-day season. And I was like, what is going on here? And, I was like, we shouldn't even do it. But here we are. We're doing it. The Mets have their best chance ever to win a World Series.
I don't know about the World Series because here's the problem. So for people who don't know baseball, here's the problem with the 60-day season, a 60-game season. Baseball is an incredibly streaky sport.
Yeah.
You can get in 2013, the Dodgers were 13 games below 500 going into June 1st, and then Yasiel Puig comes up. They win 42 of the next 50 games, and they take the division.
Yeah.
Had it just been a 60-game season, they were one of the best teams that year. Had they just been a 60-game season, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. So many teams are going to be really good, and then have a slump early on, and then you get with how the games are playing, where you're playing of the 60 games you're playing, 40 of them are against your division, and then 20 of them are against the other league's division. That's it. So like my teams are the Dodgers and Angels, so they're going to see each other 5 times because all the NL West teams are going to face the AL West teams 5 times each, right? But because like so much of the schedule is against your division opponents and the division winner, you are an automatic spot in the playoffs. If you get down 4 or 5 games like a month into the season, your season's over.
Yeah, you're out. And that's disappointing because in 2005, the Mets made an amazing run where they had to win I can't remember, like 60, 70%. I had a huge win percentage. They did. And not only that, at the very end of the season, they had to sweep the Pirates. And I remember we barely won our last game, 1-0. It went to the 9th inning. I was like, oh my gosh. And they made it in the playoffs. They got very far, but couldn't beat the Cardinals, unfortunately. But it was just such a great season. And the Mets would have never had that shot if the season hadn't been as long. The season is just perfect right now. The regular season is just right. I don't think we need to add games. I don't think we need to take games away. In fact, I think the lowest season we should have is 160 games. That's the lowest. But I'm fine with, what is it, 180 right now?
162.
162. Okay. Well, I mean, with the playoffs and everything. But yeah, 162. It's a perfect number. But it's just the right length. It's just the right length. And to have a short preview season, you're not going to see baseball at its best. You're just not. People aren't warming up yet. They're not getting. I mean, all these little interleague, they're pitching. They're just playing. It's just a practice, is what we're watching right now. We're watching all these practices on team on team skirmishes and stuff. That means nothing. It means nothing, and they're not ready. They're not ready. It's just, I don't know. I'm just disappointed that we're not going to see baseball at its best. Whereas if we start early this season, we could have gotten new fans too. I honestly believe that, because baseball is something that just it's an endearing sport. I agree though. I think just like a lot of sports, you need to see it live. Even if you don't like baseball, I challenge each and every one of you. If you live near a team that has a baseball team, you don't care about baseball, go see one game. To get in a stadium, to be there with fans and to watch the game is just, there's nothing better than a live game. Am I wrong, Dylan?
No, I would I would make sure that you don't do it to a team that's like terrible, especially if your local team is terrible.
You can watch the other team and cheer for the other team. I mean, if you're next to the Florida Marlins, you may as well just cheer for the other team. But the thing is, though, you're going to have a great time. Texas Ranger Stadium's the closest thing to me. We've gone a couple of times. Sometimes they're playing the Met. I've gotten to go to the Met series, which is really awesome. But even when they were playing like the A's or the whoever, we had a lot of fun. I cheered for the Rangers. The Rangers have never lost since. When I cheer for the Mets win. When I cheer for the Rangers haven't lost. I haven't seen the Rangers lose in Texas Ranger Stadium yet, except against my Mets, which I'm fine with. But in fact, I was there for that 3-game back-to-back season. I don't know if you remember this, where it was a record. All 3 games ended in a walk-off home run, which has not happened in because I remember when it happened, I turned to my wife and went, I don't think this has ever happened before. I told her that. I said, that's 3 walk-off home runs we just experienced, because we came in for the game Friday, stayed Saturday, and then stayed Sunday for the game. And all three of the games were absolutely incredible games where the Rangers come back. I'm not that big of a Rangers fan, okay? But I loved every minute of it. And that's the thing, going to a live baseball. And I hear the same for hockey. I've never been to a live hockey game, National League hockey game, but I'd love to go. I'm a hockey fan. I watch usually during the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I bet a live hockey game is a lot of fun. But live baseball, folks, there's nothing better than it. Unfortunately, it's going to look bad with all the empty stadiums too. It's going to look like no one cares. But it's that's because of the pandemic.
Well, they've said that like the non-essential personnel on the team and like the players that are not going to be in the game. So like tomorrow and like the next starter, they're all going to be going into the stands. So there are going to be people in the stands. It's going to be like, it's just going to look like Marlins games. There's going to be like 20, 30 people in the stands.
Every game is going to look like Marlins home game or the Cleveland Indians. Goodness gracious. Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely you should go. Now, this year, it's a crapshoot. I know I stopped watching videos. They're like, well, this team could win. Dude, any team could win. The worst team can win.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think any team can make the playoffs, but the best team on paper that makes the playoffs will win it all.
Sound like a regular ESPN analyst there. I like my Mets chance because the Mets get hot at the beginning of the season and then they go cold. They never win again. So the first 30 days are really good for us. And if we can stay around for 60 days, we're doing great. We can get in the playoffs. So I like the Mets chances. It's just so aggravating to see a shortened season and not a full season. And I don't think it'll hurt my love of baseball, but it definitely puts a wet blanket on it, if that makes sense.
You know who's real happy with how the season's going though?
Who?
The Astros.
Yeah.
Think about it.
The Astros scandal is gone.
They've had months for everyone to forget about it. Even if people do remember, the stadiums are going to be completely empty, so there's going to be no one mercilessly booing them every time they go up to the plate.
Yeah.
They got such a free pass.
You could have murdered someone in 2019, and they would have let you play ball now because it's okay. The Astros are probably the happiest people because remember, during spring training, people were getting angrier and angrier. When the Astros opened their mouths, it just got worse for them. People were looking really bad for them in February and in early March. And then suddenly COVID hit and we don't hear anything. And the Astros are like, we're going to play baseball now. Yay.
Before the season started, while they were still in spring training and the season was looking like it was going under, Vegas had the over-under for Astros hit batters at 81. Vegas was predicting that an Astros batter would get hit by a pitch every other game. And now, if you took the under, you're a genius.
Yeah, what's the point now? Let me ask you this. How do you think your Dodgers and your Angels are going to fare in a short season?
In a short season, well, there was a little bit a back and forth with Mike Trout on whether he was actually going to play the season. As of 20 hours ago, he said he's good. So I think if the Angels have Mike Trout with Worth, we have a shot at making the playoffs. But that pitching staff is not good enough to win a World Series, even with I think the Angels have a shot at making the playoffs, and if they do, as soon as they play a good team in a 5 or 7 game series, they're done. Dodgers, if this is a 162 game season, I think they're only lock to make the playoffs of all the division winners because they're just absolutely loaded. And then Kershaw, as he always does, blows it in October and ruins everything. Now, I don't know.
I think the Dodgers have a good chance to make it. I don't see any teams as clear winners because the thing is, and I hear people talk about, hey, this team's really good. Yeah, but they need to warm up. So to be honest, it is a crapshoot in a way. But I am happy because I do think the Mets, they usually do good at the beginning of the season. Then when every other team wakes up, then we lose. So we do. I am kind of positive about that. But other than that, like I said, I stopped watching the analysts talk about who they think can win out in a small season because it's so small. We're talking 60 games is not that much in any team. You look at I would like someone to pull these numbers. I probably should have done this a while back. But look at every season and just go to the first 60 days. I guarantee you that not even probably half of those teams made it to the playoffs by the end of the year. Because it looks so different. There are a few teams that run away with it. They're always first and they stay at the top forever. You got some teams you're going to make it, but about half of those teams disappear midway through the season. The Mets are up there with everyone. They're fighting it out. They're duking. What was it? The first 30 days of the season, they were beating the Nationals, beating the Braves. They were looking good. And then when day 60 rolls around, Mets are trailing. And I'm like, because every other team just gets warmer, and that's the thing. You got to just warm up. So I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion. Do you think anyone's going to win? I mean, do you just think there's a clear winner?
No. The only teams that I can are like the only teams that I definitely pretty much know the ones that are doing the ones that are 100% in like a rebuild. I think we can safely count those guys out, but everyone else is just so wide open. Yeah. And people think, oh, it's so wide open. That's so much. It's like, well, no, because again, my concern is a team's going to get hot. Is going to make the playoffs that doesn't deserve to be there, and then that playoff series is going to be a complete snooze fest as a team that's actually good destroys them easily.
It's gonna be someone like the
Angels.
I know the Tigers. No. It's gonna be the Tigers and let me see, the Brewers or something. These bottom feeding teams who just don't have hey, this is the A's best chance to make it. I mean, it's just such a crapshoot that's another thing. It's probably not going to make me happy. The season's probably not going to make me happy because, not a bunch of players got to go out there. And what about players? I mean, here's what I wish. Okay. It's a short season. Nobody cares. Bartolo Colon, he wants to come back. He wants to pitch for the Mets. He wants to retire with the Mets. Now, I think the DH is all season long, right?
Yeah, universal DH.
For both sides. I hate that. By the way. I don't like the DH. But this is Bartolo Colon's. He said he just wants to retire as a Met, play one more season. That's all he wants. I say the Mets give him a contract. Bartolo Colon is a fun guy. He's a smart guy. He's a veteran. He's what, 45 now? 46? I don't know. But the man at 42 was pitching a shutout against Houston a few years ago when Houston was at its best, when Houston was cheating. The man was pitching a shutout of them for like 6 innings at 42 or 43. I mean, the guy he's amazing. And I don't think he'd do that well, but this is a short season. I think this is the perfect time to give Bartolo Colon his last season, pitching for the Mets, retiring. I think, and sadly, it has to be in an empty stadium. But I think the city of New York would just knock down the gates and just flood Shea Stadium regardless. They'd all get arrested, but they'd all wish him goodbye. That's what I want to see for 2020. What story do you want to see? You want to see the Angels somehow win?
I'd love to see Angels Dodgers World Series, but I know I know there's no way that happens.
Never say never in 2020.
Well, there's no way for 2 reasons. 1, the Angels are never going to get that far in the playoffs. 2, Clayton Kershaw is going to get thrown into a game and he's going to blow the lead and cost us the whole series.
You're such a wet blanket.
I've been watching Kershaw since 2008 blow postseason games. All right,
You can't win against cheaters, though. How mad are you at Houston?
Very mad.
You should be. I mean, everyone should be.
I thought
Houston fans should be disappointed with their team.
it would
Now,
be one.
do you believe the rumors? Let me go back because this used to be a hot topic. Do you believe the rumors that other teams were doing this too, like the White Sox and who was the other team that was allegedly?
I think so, just because of how quiet some of the players on other teams have been. I also believe that Altuve has was wearing a buzzer for some games.
Oh yes, obvious. That's obvious.
And I'm not one of those people that's like the Dodgers should be the 2018 rule. They should take it away, and the Dodgers be the no. That wouldn't feel right.
Yeah, that's a hollow victory. That's not really something you can celebrate.
But Houston shouldn't have it either. I think no one should be the 2018 World Series champions.
In a way, I kind of agree with that.
2017.
I agree with that. I think Houston should have had their World Series stripped, and we would have had no World Series winner that year. Unless they want to give it to the Mets. I'll take whatever I can get.
I also think that the players, even though they got immunity for coming clean, they should have been fined for their winnings, their World Series winnings.
Definitely, I think so.
At the very least.
Yeah. But as a Dodger fan, I know you're upset about that. It's just that I hate the Dodgers with a passion, so I can't feel bad for them. But I do agree they got the raw deal. It's like, you know, the Yankees have some great players. I want them to lose every game. I hate the Yankees.
The Yankees also got cheated out of 2 pennants.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't care about the Yankees though.
No.
It's hard to feel bad for the Yankees.
I know it is.
Now, the Yankees was a team that was accused of cheating too, weren't they? Weren't they another team?
I believe so.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's like we can't avoid our scandals in baseball. I mean, steroids kill us, and, you know, we just got one scandal after the next. It's just like, come on, like we need another reason to get people not to love our sport. So, anyway, all right. So, any other topics you got?
So have you heard all the rules that they have?
The no spitting.
Yeah.
Yes, I read that. I rolled my eyes. I just want baseball, but I think that's totally no spitting. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. I'm okay with them playing in empty stadiums. I'm okay with, you know, some of the managers wearing masks. I understand that. They're older. Wear a mask. They're not going to get in fights this year, that's for sure.
Well, they can't even like high five or like or hub or like do like the plate mobs for like walk-offs anymore.
I don't agree with that either. Hand sanitizer. Use hand sanitizer.
Because like, what are you gonna like get rid of the like? Are you gonna get rid of like the close like slides and tags at like second base or?
I see that makes no difference in a high five than a tag at the base. You're exactly right. It makes, I don't know, no spitting. What? They're not spitting at anyone. I mean, you shouldn't spit on anyone, but they never spit on anyone. But no spitting? I mean, I don't know. They're banning sunflower seeds, I guess.
Yeah, sunflower seeds and chewing tobacco.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I just think that's kind of silly. I think it's kind of stupid. That's just me.
But gum is permitted. Where are they gonna put the gum?
I don't know. You gonna spit out your gum? You gonna blow bubbles and pop them with all the germs inside the bubbles? I don't know. I think some of those rules they're just. I mean, maybe they're done for fanfare to say, "Oh, look how safe we're being. We care about our players." But at the same time, some of those are completely ridiculous.
Now, the other one is the runner on second in extra inning games.
Oh, I forgot about that. I totally hate that.
Now, I don't in caveats. I don't mind if it's just for the regular season and if it's after the 12th inning.
I hope that's not going to become a permanent rule because I'm afraid some of these things will be permanent rules. Like the DH for National League, I'm afraid that's it. We're done. Because they've been wanting DH in National League, and I don't want that. I think they would love to keep that second base rule because, they're always trying to find ways to make the game shorter. But I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that. I just don't. I like baseball the way it is. But I'm an old grumpy person. What do you think of the rules?
So most of them because a lot of the rules are like they're reducing the amount of time that you have to be on the DL and the IL, which makes sense because it's a shortened season. So like a 60-day getting put on the 60-day IL, you're out for the season. So reducing that down totally makes sense. Same thing with the DL. I get those. I get the and this is the compromise that they came to with like the salaries. It's like, oh yeah, so you get your full salary, just like the percentage of that salary for like 37% of that salary because we're only playing 37% of the games. That was when they originally in contact arguments. I was like, why not just pay them like a percentage of the amount of games that they were going to play? And that's what they came to. We spent like 2 months arguing over numbers for that to be the compromise.
I know. And that to be the compromise. Stupid.
There was an interesting one. So this is actually news last year. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but so the Atlantic League was last year testing out a couple new rules to implement them. One of them was a rule that the batter can steal first base on any count.
That's stupid.
You don't like that?
No, that's just a dumb rule. I didn't hear about this. I did hear that minor league is done.
Yeah.
What do you think about minor league baseball being done?
I don't. It's going to make rehab starts difficult for injuries.
Well, do you think they're going to do like a AAA, AA?
What do you mean?
I think they're still going to have farm clubs, but only like 2.
I would hope so.
I didn't like the rookie league either. A-ball's kind of a joke. So AA and AAA, maybe keep them around. Not as AA, AAA, just keep them as extra farm teams. This is going to reduce players getting into the ball game. It reduces the draft dramatically because you're not forced to take all these extra people. You don't have to have this sluggish. And to be honest, it's all minor league's fault. So I won't miss the minor league. I do want some of these stadiums to stay around and some baseball to be played because I think in some of these lower suburb towns, like I'm not that far from Jackson, Mississippi, and that's where the Mississippi Braves play. We go see those games every year usually. We see at least 2 games a year, if not more. They're cheap. They're fun. It's just fun to be at the ballpark. My wife and I usually go first of the season, watch a few games, and at the end of the season, we always watch the last game. The whole family goes. It's like some big tradition. I hope those don't go away because that's really some of the easiest ways we can watch baseball. But I don't have an answer for the minor league. I know they're going to have to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to do something. So I think they're probably going to keep some of their AAA, AA around, but after that, they're just going to cut everyone else off. I don't know what that does to contracts, that you sign with people in the rookie league and A-ball and stuff.
Well, did you know?
I won't miss minor league as it is right now.
I won't because I don't watch it, but I do recognize how much of an important role minor league plays in development of the next generation of players and allowing major league players to make rehab starts when they come back from injury, not at a lower level, to work them back into game shape, as well as the again the effect of like when the minor leagues end in September, and then you have the expanded roster, so you can give all those guys major league at bats, and how sometimes you'll bring a guy up late in the season, and then they're just on fire, and the rest of the league doesn't know him, and then you ride that guy all the way through like a good playoff run. We're missing that without the minor leagues here. Another thing related to the minors is, did you hear that they're cutting the amateur draft from 40 to 5 picks?
5?
Yeah.
It's going to be 5? Okay.
There's going to be 5 from now on. There's going to be 5 rounds in the amateur drafts.
I knew that would reduce the draft. I didn't think it would reduce it that much, but that's wild. Wow.
No more Mike Piazzas, I guess.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Well, Mike Piazza is a there will never be anyone who has Mike Piazza's story. Picked dead last in the draft by the Dodgers, only because Tommy Lasorda was a friend of the family. And he did it as a he knew the family, so he drafted Mike. Mike did good enough in their training days, so he got a little contract, signed up for, I think, A-ball was where he started, and just dominated and just roared through the minor leagues and got onto the Dodgers and ended up his career eventually as a Met Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer. Man got picked. What was it? This is back when they had 165 rounds or something. I mean, I can't remember.
62nd round of the drafts.
Okay.
I think over half the league had stopped drafting at that point.
Yeah, because no one cares at that point. This is also the last round is usually a joke. Billy Crystal, I think, got drafted by the Yankees one year when he was 62 or something. The coach's daughters get drafted. Friends, family. One time they drafted a fictional like Big Bird or something. I don't know. It's a joke. The last few drafts is a joke. No one cares anymore at that point. And Mike Piazza was just one of the drafts at the very last minute, and he made it to Hall of Fame. Now, who's the second person who can claim that? I have no idea. There's no one who can claim I got drafted last and I'm a Hall of Famer. There's no one else who can claim that in baseball. He's got one of the most amazing stories in baseball. He's one of my favorite players too, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I would really like to know how many other players got drafted that late and then not only made it to the majors, but made it as a Hall of Famer. I would like to say hardly any. That no one has been drafted that late. Maybe midway through the draft, someone has made it to the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Someone needs to crunch those numbers, but what Mike Piazza did was just simply amazing. But what else you got? Anything else?
Oh, I was just looking up Hall of Fame members by draft.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, Dylan is a numbers guy. He's going to look that up. So I'll just throw it to everyone else.
Joe Madden was picked in the 21st round.
Oh, Joe Madden. Joe Madden is one of the best coaches in baseball, period.
Willie Davis. Oh, wait. This is football. This is all sports. Right. Dang it.
Okay. Anyway, so folks, tell us, do you care about baseball? Did you watch all 35 minutes of this? Because if so, that's amazing. You must obviously love us, or you love baseball, or you love both. Or do you not even care and you're not even watching this, which is probably what's going to happen. But it doesn't matter. Dylan, thanks for talking baseball with me.
Yep.
And if you think you know who's going to win, let us know. Let us know your thoughts of the 2020 season.